Hello, this is Steve from Beaute's Leatherworks, and today's project, we've got these boots. Now, they've seen better days. Unfortunately, there's some cracking on the welt here. The uppers are a little bit dry. Soles are worn out. Now, what we're going to do today, we're going to completely remove the welt. That's a plastic welt, by the way. We're going to put a split welt leather midsoles and some new soles on here. Now, the issue is there's a lot of problems on the interior. So once we take it apart, we'll let you see what it looks like on the inside, and we'll have to replace the heel lining, the footbeds, and try to do the best we can on the uppers to bring them back again. All right, let's get started. Nature's chorus is playing today. I know what you guys are saying, you know, why don't you just get another pair of boots, right? You guys know everything I do has some sort of a history behind it, you know, and the customers always want to retain that, you know, history and continue to use it for many years to come after I get done with it. This particular one, I believe it belongs to a friend of his, something like that, and he's going to redo it and give it to him. That shank is about rusted as heck, man. It's going to require some structural support because there's no, the footbed is just about dead. That's just falling apart. We're just going to have to replace that. Most of the time when I quote jobs, I make sure that the customer will be able to use the item, okay? And even though they're in bad shape, and even though they may not, well, some people may not think it's worth redoing, structurally, after I get done with it, it'll be definitely usable again. If it's not, I normally wouldn't take the work on. If you're not going to get use out of the item when I've repaired it, then I wouldn't do it. I would say, you know what, not a good idea. Let's not do it this time. It's just not structurally good for it. Because I'm not comfortable doing something that I know that you're not going to get use out of it. Well, what's the use, you know, putting that kind of time, that kind of money into something that you're not going to be able to use it. Nope. Won't do it. These aren't expensive boots. These are what? Carolina gold. I mean, it's got a nice leather interior, you know, but he just wore the hell out of them. Well, they're boots. You're supposed to wear the hell out of them. But I think the interior structurally there's more issues than just, you know, broken welt here. So once we take the footbed out, we'll see what the inside looks like. All right, let's continue. All right, so now that we've got it apart, we've got to address that big hole in the back of the heel. We'll call that a heel lining. Most of the time we put a piece like a half a circle, maybe the same shape as this here, and stitch it all together. But I figured maybe I would replace this piece about maybe 4 inches vertical like that. We can always stitch the new piece with the footbed that we're going to stitch with the new welt. How do we get to the top stitch here? This is the top stitch. See, that loop is in the way. In order for me to get to this stitch here, I've got to unstitch this to lift the loop up, stitch that top line there, and then fold that over, stitch this, and stitch that back. So that's a little bit more complicated than then it's really worth to do. So we got to figure a way out to not access that top stitch, because you don't want to, I don't want to disassemble a lot just to get to that one stitch, because you can't really get to that stitch because those stitches right here were stitched before that loop was folded over. So we got to figure a way out of doing that, replacing or fixing that without taking a lot of stuff that apart. All right, let's continue. I don't know why I bother to think about what I got to do. Just do it, damn it. Yeah, I decided to take it apart. You know? Oh well. Aw. Now we found out that heel counter is busted. I got to replace that. I'm going to reinforce this because it's going to be kind of difficult to duplicate that curvature here. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a piece right on top of it to kind of give us some structural support. That's what we're going to do. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'll probably change my mind a little later. This is an odd way of doing this, you know, because, well, I guess the people who designed it didn't really think about who's going to repair it, you know, who's going to take it apart or not. So that's all right. This is a piece of crepe rubber. We call this plantation crepe. And this is really good for removing old stitches. The friction of that picks it up and cleans it up. My voice is going today. We went out of town for a couple of days yesterday and did some driving, did some singing in the car, got a little crazy, and my voice is a little hoarse today. Yeah, we get a little crazy sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time. All right, let's continue. Sucker is dirty. I got some other brushes around. I don't know. This is the closest one I found. Need a little bit, maybe a little heavier bristles. Inside is more important than the outside, it seems. All right, so we got that piece out right there, the damaged piece. Now sometimes, depending on what you're doing, we flatten this torn areas down and put a piece on top of it. But the problem is that you keep on building layers of leather, then it changes the size of the inside. So we've got the new piece right here. We're going to glue it in place and just put that top stitch first, right there. Then once that's assembled, once that's stitched, I see the edges are skived right here, so it doesn't feel like it's a ridge when he puts it on. Same way with the new piece, the edges are skived. So once that top stitch gets stitched, then we flip this over and we go ahead and stitch the tab down, okay? And then we'll stitch the heel counter back in. I reinforced that piece right here. See that white line right there? That's a piece of material that reinforces that area, so it's got a nice sturdy heel counter now. All right, let's continue. Right there. You guys can see the stitch. See that black stitch right there? I left the black so you guys can see it. And we'll cut the excess off there. All right, let's continue. All right, so we've got the heel lining done, back quarter stitch together, top stitch, stitch the loop back. We'll patch those toes a little bit, and then we'll be done with the interior. Now, once we're done with patching the toes, we're going to condition the inside real good, and then we can move on to recreating the footbed. Yeah, that's a footbed. Was a footbed. I can't laugh anymore. No voice. Let's continue. This is gemming that we're going to put on the footbed where the uppers and the welt get stitched to. I don't know, lately I've been getting a lot of like restoration jobs rather than like repair jobs, you know, like big projects. It seems like everything has a sentimental value. It's vintage, it's been abused, it's been used, and a lot of that's coming through the mail. If you guys have any repair, reach out to your local cobbler and see if they can help you out. There's a lot of guys out there who can use the help, I'm sure. But, you know, do your homework. Make sure there's something, you know, they offer something that you need. But not everybody does the same amount of, you know, the same work that we do or anybody else. You know, everybody does things differently. So if you've got something, reach out to your local cobbler. Don't forget about them. I'm sure they would appreciate any business that would come their way. So now we're simply going to be gluing the foot, if I can think, the gemming onto the footbed. Now, anytime that we're doing jobs like this, you guys have to understand that once it gets done, you've got to go through the break-in period, because you see how curved this footbed is. It's shaped the same shape as your foot, basically. That one's flat, like it was brand new. So yes, it will feel different when you first put it on, but you just have to go through the break-in period. That's it. Voila. Add some relief cuts there so we can kind of bend that corner. Okay. Now here at the end, some people do, they'll cut it, right? And then they'll just kind of keep it like that. I like to overlap it a little bit. So open that up to get rid of the piece inside there so it doesn't bulk up. Take a little bit of glue, glue it like that. Put a little bit of glue there, and she should be set. Let it sit for a minute while that's drying. Come and cut your relief cuts there at the toe. I mean, you can just kind of hammer them down on top of each other where it kind of folds on top of each other, but I like to give it some relief cuts to make it flat. It's nothing really structural. Okay, come back here, put that on top, squeeze that back together. That way it's a good start and finish right there. All right, let's continue. All right, we've got the footbed done. Okay, the gemming is stitched on, the pad is on, and we're going to cover it with leather now. Now, in order for me to be able to turn the edges over like this here, the edges of the leather has got to be skived very thin so it'll conform to the shape of the footbed. So let's skive the edges all the way around. Let's continue. Got a small sample piece, let's try that out. Not too bad. Not too shabby. This machine is called a bell skiver. It thins out the leather just like that. Let's continue. All right, so we're at the stage where all the stitching got done. Patched the toe, patched the back of the heel, stitched up where I could, got the footbed ready. Now what we need to do at this stage here, remember the guide marks that we put before we took it apart? We've got them on the shoe also. So we're going to put a temporary stitch at those areas to give us the shape that we want. It's very easy to misalign the footbed with the uppers at the stage, so you got to be careful. If you do that, then it's not going to look like a shoe. It's going to be crooked. It'll look like an eggplant maybe. So that's what the next process is. Once we secure those areas, then we'll go ahead and clean the uppers again, condition them, polish them, do whatever I got to do, and then we'll sew the welt on. All right, let's continue. Alright, so we're going to put some Fiebings light brown dye. I like taking care of the uppers at this stage here because the welt is not on. We're going to do a natural color welt. So all the coloring, conditioning, polishing, I try to get out of the way. And when I'm finished at the end, I put another coat of conditioner on there just for the final coat. So this is basically, I can get into the nooks and crannies of the areas right there where the welt joins the uppers, and you don't have to touch the welt anymore. So we're going to lighten that up a little bit. Oh, where's my cup? Where's my cup? All right, let me come back. So I took the dye and lightened it, made it a little bit lighter with a little bit of mixture of thinner. You don't want to change the color of the boot too much. Well, try not to do it at all, but some of the scratches, not scratches, but the cracks, I should say, I sanded it down a little bit to smooth it out as best as I could. I'll go over it one more time. All right, let's continue. This is the split welt. You got a bunch over there. So we go through the existing holes of the boot, right? That's where it was before. Just little holes right there. Okay. This is a piece of leather that I made for my pinky right here. So what happens is that you're pulling the thread, and over time that just literally cuts into your skin, and it's not good. When you have a bunch of welts that you've got to stitch and you need a little bit of help as far as protecting yourself. The other end, I'll show you in a second. So once we hook the thread, pull it through. I've shown you guys this before. So what I do is I wrap this side on the handle and my pinky there. That way there's no stress on my fingers because it's around the handle that you're pulling it tight. And you just got to keep on going all the way around the shoe. This isn't hard work, it's just time, that's all. And you know, some people like doing it because it's kind of meditation to them, you know. It's true, it is nice. Well, if it's quiet in the shop, like it is now when we're closed. When there's too many things going on around you, no, that doesn't work too well. I've got about 4 or 5 pairs of floor shimes I'm working on that we are re-welting. So, a lot of welts to do, but not today. Gotta finish this one today. That was the temporary stitch I put together. So as you get to it, you just remove it. The other one's right there. Cool, let's continue. Now this is really important right here, the connection where it begins and ends. You know, some people just butt them together like this. Manufacturers leave gaps usually, well not that much, but you get the idea. Now this is kind of tricky because you've got a vertical piece and you got a horizontal piece, right? So before I started, I took that and I skived that end right there. Now we're getting closer to meeting them together, so we're going to cut this off. We're going to do a reverse skive it so when it's sitting on top of each other, it's kind of flat like that. And then once it's glued, you lift this vertical part up and everything should be lined up. We hope. So let's try it. Okay. I'm going to take this. It's kind of a hard angle to do with the camera. Okay. Now you just want to make sure that everything's lining up. You need to do a little bit more. Okay. Add a little bit of glue. Continue stitch it, and once it's done, everything should be flawless. Let's continue. Forgot to show you guys what kind of sole I was going to put on there. This is the Vibram. What sole is this? You guys are going to fit. Holy jeez. I'm going to have to make it fit, I guess. Oh, that's the Vibram Christy sole. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Oh, Lord. This is our leather midsole. It's hammer time. It's a long time since I haven't done hammer time. Cool. We are getting there. This is the easy part, you know, the bottom and stitching and all that. The hard part was all structural issues inside and putting everything back together. All right, let's continue. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's continue. Yeah, I know what time it is again. Let me show you guys a little something here. The stitches are countersunk into the leather midsole. That's for future repairs. What happens is that once this gets worn down, whoever's going to repair it is going to remove this, going to sand the surface. So this way they can sand it without interrupting the stitches on the welt. The welt will stay the same, so less work for them. This way the customer can wear it down and then have it replaced down the road as many times as he wants. All right. There's a lot of cushion inside the boot, so to get a nice hammer, it's kind of bouncing off the sole when I'm hammering it. Hammer time! Man, this is like extra hammer time. We'll put it in the press. That was a nice workout there. We'll put it in the press to get some, get a better adhesion. All right, let's continue. Yeah, it's not a new knife, it's an old knife. I know I only show you guys like these knives, but I got lots of knives that I use. I just don't show all of them. Continue. Now I know this says Saphir, but this is Bick 4. Bick 4 conditioner. I just like the bottle of the Saphir that we had a few of them, empty ones, and I saved them, and we just kind of continually refill it with condition, with the half a gallon, or a gallon I should say, bottles. I like the Bick 4 better than I do the Saphir conditioner. It doesn't darken the product, whatever you're applying to. It doesn't change it. With the Saphir, sometimes it darkens it, and You're stuck trying to lighten it up. Cool. She is almost there. All right, let's continue. Yeah. Come on in. Come on in. Oh, door's open.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh shit, I don't even know why I didn't just use the key to open it.
That's Mr. Finster's. Say hello, Mr. Finster.
Hello.
That's my tenant from upstairs.
I'm putting it right here for you.
Okay, buddy. Mr. Finster's tattoo shop. Tattoo parlor. I don't know what he calls it. All right. Some laces on and she's ready to go. Let's continue. It's a beautiful day outside. I thought I'd take a little break with my coffee and set up the hookah. This is the tobacco right here that we put on there. Okay. This is tobacco, molasses. Yes, it does have some nicotine in there. Some fruit flavors. This particular one is watermelon flavored. Okay. Once it gets packed in like that, it does get a little messy. Now this is El Fakir. Okay. This isn't bad tobacco. It's not bad. It's pretty popular. They do have some others. One is called Star Buzz. Star Buzz. That's not bad either. This particular flavor, I don't like the double apple. The double apple is like it has well, it gives you a buzz first of all. No, it's just all right natural. There's nothing in there like that. It's like a licorice taste, like an aftertaste it leaves, and I don't particularly care for that. So the Star Buzz, you can do the double apple, you won't get that. Now you'll poke some holes into the foil there. This is just a cage for it so it doesn't fall over. If the hose gets pulled, and it won't tip over and fall down. Most of the hookah places, when you go now, they'll give you a new hose because it's not really good to keep on using the same hose. Everybody has to have their same hose, different hose. This is, throw this away after you use it. And that's about it. The charcoal gets lit up here, and then you enjoy your smoke. All right, let's continue. Everything done in moderations is okay. Yes, hookah's bad for you if you're sitting there smoking 5 hours a day every day. What isn't bad for you? Everything is bad for you. So, well, maybe coffee's not bad for you. But you can overdo that too. Beautiful day. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. And about 10-15 minute break and then I'll get back to work. All right, some of you guys are asking me what my where my information is to get a hold of me. So if you're on the main page of Beaute's Leatherworks on YouTube, you go to About, and all my information is right here. Okay? If you want to ship something in, on the right corner right here, it says shipping form. Click onto that and download all that. Download this piece right here, fill it in and send it with your item, and I'll contact you once I receive it. And if you have any questions, beatos@yahoo.com. beatos@yahoo.com. All right, thank you for joining me. I think they turned out pretty good. I think it's going to get many, many, many more years of use out of it. With the interior structural leather pieces repaired, and new footbed, new welt, new midsole, new soles, new shank. I think he'll be very happy. These are the pieces that we removed. All trash. Now all he's got to do is once in a while just condition him up, polish him up, and he'll be ready to go. All right, I appreciate you guys joining me again. Share, comment, give me a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And we'll see you guys on the next project. Take care.